Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel as we continue towards 200 subscribers on this road to Spider-Man No Way Home. And today we jump into the next chapter of Spider-Man films. We're talking about the first film in the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, The Amazing Spider-Man, directed by Mark Webb, who that man has the name for directing Spider-Man movies. His last name is Webb, for crying out loud. The only thing that would have been better if this series of films was called Web of Spider-Man. That would have been perfect. But Mark Webb, from what I understand, he did 500 Days of Summer before this. But before that, I think he did some more music videos and stuff like that. So this was his first big film. And you can definitely feel that kind of indie vibe, that rom-com vibe, especially with the scenes between Peter and Gwen. And I'll say right off the bat, that is the best part about not only this film, it's about the only good part about the second film, but we're not here to talk about that just yet. The film has Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker taking up after Tobey Maguire, and Emma Stone coming in as the definitive Gwen Stacy. Definitely better than Bryce Dallas Howard. Not so kind of ditzy, but supposed to be smart. She is legitimately smart. When Emma Stone says she's smart in this movie, you believe her. She works for Oscorp as a scientist, you definitely believe her. And in this one, they are seniors in high school. So you still kind of have that problem of Andrew Garfield not really looking like a high schooler, but not quite as bad as Tobey Maguire. He looks like maybe a few years younger than Tobey Maguire did when he started, but still has that little bit of a problem. But the chemistry between these two is off the freaking charts. And that's because they were dating in real life when these movies were shooting. That's why you can just feel the chemistry just flying when they're on screen together. And I mean, the Uncle Ben in this film, of course, is played by Charlie Sheen's father, Martin Sheen. Of course, you probably know him from The West Wing, among several other things, but he's actually my favorite Uncle Ben, possibly because we get more of him and Peter in this one than we did in the originals. In the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, the only time you really got Uncle Ben, Peter was kind of treating him like shit. So you didn't get a whole lot of Uncle Ben. In this one, you get more of their relationship before he gets, popped in the film. It actually happens about halfway through the movie, so you definitely get more Uncle Ben in this one, so that's probably why I like him. I do like the original Aunt May more than I like this Aunt May. The original Aunt May feels like what I imagine Aunt May in the comic books to be, like this sweet, nice, but stern old lady that will give Peter a kick in the ass when he needs it, like she does in Spider-Man 3. This one, while she does give Peter, that kick in the ass when he needs it, she doesn't feel or look really like the Mary Jane the Mary Jane. She doesn't look like Mary Jane either. She doesn't look like the Aunt May that I picture in my head from the comic books. It's not the Aunt May that I have in my head canon, but she did a good job nonetheless. Sally Field plays Aunt May in this iteration, and like I said, there's no Mary Jane in this, so they kind of switched things up with the Gwen Stacy thing, and I think it worked for the better. I have always liked the Gwen Stacy character better than Mary Jane. Mary Jane always felt like she was kind of not. This is gonna sound rough, but I mean, in the current comics, she's right for Peter. But when, for a long time, she just kind of felt like she was not good enough for Peter. She was kind of not the best person. And yeah, I mean, of course, in this film, everyone knows the tragic ending of Gwen Stacy, so it was like, oh man, you can almost feel that coming. But it doesn't happen in this film because Green Goblin shows up in the next one, unfortunately. This film stars the Lizard as the main bad guy, who is coming back for Spider-Man No Way Home, so this one's definitely going to tie in. And I actually like the Lizard the most. Similar relationship I can feel is definitely between Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Doc Ock and Spider-Man 2. These two have a very similar relationship where it's more, scientist and scientist bonding before, Lizard and Spider-Man come into things. But this film definitely shows Peter Parker more as a smart person. The first one, the first series, they show him doing some science stuff and he knows about the spiders and whatnot, but this one he's inventing things, he's making the web shooters. This one definitely shows him being the genius that he is in the comic books, and that's why I honestly think I might change my mind after rewatching the Tom Holland ones, but I think Andrew Garfield is my favorite Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire, he was good as Spider-Man, but he didn't make jokes all that often. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is quippy, when he catches the one guy by the cars, he's shooting him with the things and he sneezes and he's like, oh no, my one weakness, knives. That's the Spider-Man I like, and he's a genius as Peter Parker. The only problem is he looks a little too old to be playing high school Peter Parker. I think if this one was set in college when he's in Empire University, I think he would have been perfect as Peter Parker, but he's damn good, possibly my favorite. The big thing that does not work for me in this one is the backstory with Peter's parents. I do not like it how they're not secret agents per se, but they're wrapped up in all this top secret stuff involving Oscorp. I do like Oscorp being like the top bad guy in Spider-Man's universe. I do like that. I don't like the whole thing with his parents. I never have. And in the second one, they really dive deep into that, which did not work for me, but we'll talk about that in the next video. But overall, that's really the only thing that doesn't work for me in this film. This is one of my favorite Spider-Man films. I love The Amazing Spider-Man. I think it's the most underrated Spider-Man film, and that's why it's going to get a 9 out of 10 for me here on the channel. The only thing that doesn't work for me is the stuff with Peter's parents, but other than that, great freaking movie, one of my favorites, and I can't wait to see how this one with Andrew and the Lizard and possibly Spider-Gwen tie into Spider-Man No Way Home, which we will be seeing here in about 2 weeks, which is so damn exciting. A little less than 2 weeks, actually. So let me know what you thought of The Amazing Spider-Man down in the comments below. Do you hate this film? Do you think it's the worst? Or do you, like me, think it's one of the best and truly the most underrated Spider-Man flick we've seen so far? Let's chat down there in the comments. Make sure you share this video on all your different social media platforms so more people get their eyes on it. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel so we can keep growing and getting more people here on the channel. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys right here next time.